What was that? See, I'm not touching that button. It's not in candlelight. Let's see if it'll ramp. What was that? Let's do a battery check. .3. Plenty of juice. It's higher than 1.2. It should be compatible with that. Moonlight. Ramp up to high. It's not hot. Look at that. Off. Who said off? I didn't touch that button. So yeah, this one, it's probably just this flashlight, but I think I've had it happen with the, look at that, see it stepping? That's not temperature, it's not hot in here. The ambient temperature in here is like 66 degrees, 67. Look at that stepping. A voltage fluctuation. So yeah, you know, the answer is to return it, that there's something wrong with it, that it's bad. But I don't know. I'm gonna keep it because it'll operate with the regular Sofrin battery. This is an iCAD. So let's do the temperature automatic reset calculation thing. Pow! There we go. Let's see if it works now. Okay, I'm gonna ramp it. It's up in the high. Off. Put it into ramp mode. 1, 2, 3. Go up to high. No flickering. All the way up to maximum. 1, 2. Turbo. It's in it already. Now that was ramping down. It's supposed to ramp down. Goes up. Down. Moonlight. See if you're doing okay. Let's go up to high. Yeah, so you see, just dropping it in, normally you get all kinds of weird stuff going on. I think it's because it's remembering the last voltage or trying to remember the last. I don't know. I'm just guessing on this. But I'm just trying to figure out a way to work around it. And it seems to be calibrated back to factory. Then you're going to have to go to advanced user interface. You know, it probably remembers that just for that few seconds. And yeah, so that's my workaround for that. If you start having it act weird, just do a factory reset, or it automatically calibrates with the ambient temperature when it does that. And I found these to be fairly accurate. It does it in centigrade, so you have to switch over if you're in Fahrenheit. But it's pretty accurate. And then it also kind of resets it to let it know, I guess, what battery voltage you're operating on. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough to set be like, hello and welcome to my channel. Well, I tend to get flashlights in different ranges, just like knives. You know, you get different. You go for small knives, medium-sized knives, and everything. Flashlights, for me, tend to fall into categories of, you know, what size of battery do they take? And these right here are examples of AA size battery flashlights. Going from simple to more complex. The thing about the more complex ones, like these are both SP10 Pros, and they have the Anduril programming and everything else. These, all you have to do, have to learn to do, is operate a tail switch. You get 2 modes in these, low and high, and you get a low, medium, high in the Ace Beam Bookie Light. With the Sofrin SP10 Pro, it's supposed to operate from 1.2, 1.5, or the supplied battery that comes with it. Now this one's different, and then I got a magnetic tail cap on it, and it came with the diffuser. I don't know why I got 2 of them, but I could have ordered just the diffuser and the tail cap separately, but I got another flashlight. But I started noticing some odd things. Like this is a 1.2. All right, every time on these flashlights, these SP10s, when you put them in, every time when you put a battery in, it seems, depending on how long you took between them, it'll go back to the simple user interface, which is kind of like a muggle mode, you know, every time. We will not read in Russian. All right, see, it starts off in a simple user interface. They call simple. By default, the light uses a simple UI. This is useful if you lend a light to someone else, or if you don't want to bother with any of the crazy disco modes. Oh, disco's coming back. Wow. No. Simple UI has all the basic functions needed to work as a flashlight, but the minimum and maximum brightnesses are limited to make it safer, and any complex or advanced functions are blocked. So what it tells you is, every time you change your battery, you're going to go to the simple mode. So right there, if you want to get the most out of your flashlight, you have to learn how to get out of simple mode. So already, see, you can drop any of these other, well, this one can operate at all the different voltage batteries. This one has a proprietary 2.4 Olight, you know, rechargeable, and this one will operate on any battery, or, you know, any of the different sizes, 1.2, 1.5, or 3.7, 3.6, whatever they come up with. All right, so it tells you, you know, this is what it's going to do. So already, you know, you're limited. You're limited in the highest brightness, which, you know, you got a small flashlight. You want the highest brightness out of it. So what we have to do is, every time you change a battery, the way to check it, to me, the easiest way to check and see if I'm in simple user interface is to do a battery check. And on these, it's just 3 clicks. 1, 2, 3. If it doesn't repeat, if it doesn't do it again, like it's doing now, that means you're still in advanced. So if you can do that, let me get that. If you can do the 3 and it repeats, you know, the battery check, you should be able to double check and go to the next thing. And there it is. That's the temperature check. Now, what I've also learned, and when they do the battery check, sometimes it just does a test number of flashes, like 8 or 9, before it actually gives you the actual voltage. So you have to look at the repeatable stuff. All right, so there, we're in temperature check. That means 2 more, we can get a beacon. You know, you've gone from the simple to the advanced now. Up here, you're in the simple, and that's what you're going to get every battery change. How do you get out of simple? Well, you know, they sit there and say, all right, to change between simple and advanced, turn the light off, and then do one of these. If you're in simple, 10 clicks with the last, when it goes 10H, that means on number 10 you hold down on that one. The other ones, 1 through 9 are click, 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 click. Number 10 you hold down. It should give you some kind of flash or blink or something like that to let you know that you're in there. If you're already in advanced, you just do 10 clicks. You don't hold, and it throws you back into simple. Or you could just take the battery out and put it back in. And then 10 and hold to configure the simple one. Now, I don't know how 10 and hold would go in there. Oh, if you're already in advanced and you go 10 and hold, again, you're configuring the simple if you're already in advanced. I was saying, wait a minute, how can they tell between 10 here and 10 there? Well, this is if you're in simple. All right, yeah, we got that already. If you get lost or you want to auto-calibrate the temperature sensor, do a factory reset. This is coming handy for me, and I'll show you why later. You loosen the body tube, you hold the button, you tighten the body tube, you keep holding the button for about 4 seconds. The light will freak out, it'll go crazy, flicker while getting brighter, then briefly burst to full power. Hold until it reaches full power to do a reset, or let go early to abort. All right, so what I've noticed weird about this is, let's see if we can duplicate this. I'm going to take the battery out. I'm going to let this flashlight sit here a little bit while I explain what's going on to discharge any capacitance or anything, any memory it's got in there of this particular battery. And we're going to switch to, that's a 1.2. I have no problem with the supplied Sofrin battery, that comes in with it. And this is another one. This one's not acting like this one does, but it has acted flaky. See, if you run this guy in there, 14500 lithium ion, 3.7 volts, 900 milliamp. This flashlight is supposed to be compatible with all 3 different battery types. Sorry for the bumpiness there. The lithium ion at 3.7, a 1.2, and a 1.5. Compatibility, yes. It doesn't have a little asterisk by it saying but or maybe. So what happens is, I'll put a battery in here. Let's start with the 1.2 that we already did. We'll just go through the progression. Then we'll do a 1.5, and then we'll finally put the regular one in, which is kind of like it resets it if it's freaking out. I've taken this flashlight, put a battery in here, and it acts freaky. It won't turn, let go. It won't turn on the first time sometimes. Now, when you put a new battery in, this thing's supposed to blink once. Sorry for all this bouncing. I'll turn the light off so we can see any blink if it happens to happen. There. See that? That means it kind of like recognized the battery, or you've got the polarity incorrectly or whatever. So let's go to 3. 1, 2, 3. See that? There's a moonlight going on, I think. Maybe not. Maybe that was a reflection of the light on this lens. See that? I don't think that's coming from a... No, it's not coming from a flashlight. It's coming from the overhead light reflecting into there. See, it didn't do what it was supposed to do. 1, 2, 3. Plunk. Does one. No. I've had it just go into a super moonlight mode where you just look at this emitter and it'll be barely glowing. You push the buttons, you can do it. All right, so that's weird, right? So now let's turn the light on. I've had it go into stepping mode where it just starts stepping down. You can see it. It goes click, like a lower light setting, and then it's linear, so it's like about 5 seconds apart. Then it goes click, 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 and it goes down and it's off. And I'm like, what? So this was a recently charged lithium. I'd done that. I mean, a nickel metal hydride. I'd done that. All right. So this one seems to be working fairly well. It's going up and down. It's going at a low. Yeah, it's in the simple user interface right now. So let's go 10 clicks and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I didn't see anything happen. Did you? I don't see no flicker. So let's do that battery check again. 1, 2, 3. 1. See? What was that? That battery check, if it's compatible, right? That battery check should be the same on every other one of them. So what I do is I loosen it up. I do a factory reset. I'm bumping this too much. I hold the button down, tighten it back up, and you see the light doing this weird stuff. Pow! When it does that, I let go. All right, so now it's in the step mode, you know, step brightness. If you want ramping, you do 3 clicks while it's on. 1, 2, 3. It flashes. Now it'll ramp. It'll ramp up. It'll ramp down. It'll ramp up again. It'll ramp down all even more if you keep holding it. See how that went off? That's not supposed to go off on its own unless I do something. So let's go back up to high brightness. Seem to be working. Let's do the 3 things again. 1, 2, 3. What was that? Okay, maybe we're in simple user interface. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for the hold. Didn't see any difference. I didn't see a flash. All right, 1, 2, 3. What was that? That was like a 1 battery check. So already we've got some oddness going on. This is not as odd as it gets. It gets odder than that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to duplicate it. I wish I would have had my... Let me adjust this camera here a second. Excuse me. There, maybe I won't bump into it as much. Wrong. All right. Now we're going to try a 1.5 lithium. The thing about this is it should stay a constant 1.5 volts. So, okay, this is 1.2, 1.3. We couldn't really get a voltage check off of it. I can check it with a multimeter, but because it was recently charged, it should be like 1.3 or so. This one should stay at 1.5 constantly, and it's one of those you recharge through there, through its own little port. All right, where are you, Magnetico? Sometimes these will flash as soon as you make contact, and other times you have to tighten it all the way down. Nothing. No flash. No nothing. All right, let's turn it on. All right. 1, 2, 3. That's just going to change it from step ramping while it's on. Let's turn it off. 1, 2, 3. All right, it flashed once. I think it was like 1.4, but let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's change it to advanced user interface. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't see a flash or anything, but let's try 1, 2, 3. See? Again. That means you're not going to be able to get into any of those. Let me do 10 and hold again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Nothing. Oh, there was a flash. I saw a flash there. All right, now let's do 3. 1, 2, 3. See, it's repeating. Now we know we're in advanced mode, and it's telling us the voltage. So we'll go between pauses. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1.4 volts. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So some of this is just learning. It's the clickiness of it. I think, you know. But the things that are not clicky related are this thing's stepping down like that. That's how it did all on its own. I don't think there's a mode in the advanced features there that when you turn the light on to bright and you're not touching anything, all of a sudden it starts doing this ramping on its own. It'll go like that. It went like that and off. You see that? That's in low right now, but it did that and went off in some other ones. I've had it just do this moonlight. It just stays in this. You hit this button, you won't get anything. It's not in, it's not, moonlight is engaged with, it's in, let's do it from lockout. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be lockout. Yeah. And you should get a momentary moon, and then a double click will give you a high. So you got a low and a high moonlight type thing. And while you're in lockout, that's what it'll do. I just got it out of lockout and it came back on in high. And it's in step mode, 1, 2, 3. I can put it in ramping. So this seems to be working. It may be, see, you see that? I let go of that. And that should have stayed on because I was in ramping. It went up. I let go. If I go all the way down, let's go all the way down. It's in moonlight. The other time it turned off. Maybe I wasn't seeing it right. But like I said, it just acts weird. See there? There. It's off. It's off, right? It's completely off. It's not glowing. I just let go of the button. Maybe I'm not, you know, it's getting familiar with it. So you see what's going on with this is that you have to get to know the light. You have to learn how it operates, and it's more complex. And I can understand how people are like, man, I just want to put a battery in it, click the light. If it doesn't work, it's probably a dead battery, you know, and not have to go through an advanced programming course. But if you're an enthusiast, that's why you picked the Pro, is because you didn't want to be limited to this part of the diagram. You wanted to explore this world, which I haven't gone through all of it, but I can understand most of it. But there's some things where you're programming the ceilings and all that. And what that means is that when you ramp up to high, if you haven't programmed it, there's a higher high that's available, but it's just not giving it to you. And there's a lower low that's available, but it's not giving it to you until you program it. And I'm like, oh my God. And you can see, I'm old, but you can see, this thing is hard to see, man. Why even put this here? Paper's cheap. Printing's cheap. Print out an enlarged version of Android 2 when you sell this, right? If it's part of the system, don't shrink it down. And, you know, it says, somewhere in there it says, here, we've got a video link, you know. It's hard to learn. Please refer to the chart below with an electron microscope so you can read everything. And we'll send you a video link. No, there are some good video links of people going through all this if you want to go through it, but it takes a while. It takes a while to do all that. So anyways, I think this is a good flashlight. Maybe it's the electronics in it, but once I throw a regular Sofrin battery in there or do a factory reset, things seem to go normal with these, you know. But when you're switching voltages on these, I don't know. Maybe it's just the ones that I've got. Maybe it's just this one. You know, I could have a semi-defective one. Who knows? Now it's remembering. I think it's because of the amount of time that I took to switch the batteries. Even though I went to a lower one, it still remembers that it was in advanced, and it can do all its funky things, like beacon and SOS. And really, on the SOS, you're supposed to be 3 dashes, 3 dots, and 3 dashes, and it seemed to come out as 4. 4, 3, and 3. That's weird. All right, let's watch it. Those are low ones. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, those were long. Okay, I see. I was reading it wrong. It's interspaced so closely together. The long one. See, those are the long ones. It's dot 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 dash 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 dot dot dot. SOS. So yeah, you can program a lot of things with these. It's just that with the ace beam, it remembers whatever your last one was. You cycle through them by just momentary hitting it, I think. I haven't played around with this one a lot. With the Olight i5R comes on in low. Next thing is high. Or you can momentary, just toggle between the two. Same thing with a regular Olight i5 T. Pretty simple. Low, low, and high. So, if you get these other ones, if you get these other type of lights, a lot of times you're going to have to test the manufacturer's claims. It says, oh, this thing's compatible. They should put a little asterisk by it. Oh, you may have to calibrate this sucker. When you put the battery in, you may have to do this. You may have to do that. So anyways, there. I don't have any problem with this one, the SC21 Pro, other than the one that I got initially. It was in muggle mode and it didn't tell me how to get out of it, which we just went through. 10 clicks with a hold on the last one, get you out of it. That's why I've got this flashlight. I've got this extra one here, is because I thought this one was broken. I like the color on this one a little bit better. This is just a simple black. They're both exactly the same kind of flashlight. Same batteries, everything. But it doesn't hurt having two. See, you got a little disco thing going on. And eventually they sync. Now, if you want a lot of fun, you put 3 of these out there. And then you almost got like, sometimes it's going this way, sometimes it's going this way, sometimes the guy in the middle is blinking and these other ones out of sequence. Yeah, I'm easily entertained. But my flashlight's sitting there, just out of the periphery of my vision, sitting on the table, will, I think I didn't want to stand it. I was trying to stand it up through the camera. That'll be going off on the side, and to me, I don't know, I get entertained. I think it triggers back to, like Christmas lights when you see them blinking. Not like police lights where you go, oh crap. But, these are less anxiety, more entertaining, calming type of thing. Yeah, it's like I said, some people might think that is gimmicky or whatever, but I like it. Flashlight at least does something. Also helps me when I drop it a lot. I get old, man. I drop stuff, and it's like, oh, man, I need a flashlight to find a flashlight. Not when it's in this little SOS strobe mode, It's like, hey, I'm over here, dummy. I'm right where you dropped me. I keep it on my belt loop on a little O-link thing. Works perfectly fine with that magnet on it. So, there you go. Sorry for this long, drawn-out one, but yeah. Also on my testing on these batteries, I'm not slamming EBL or anything, but I'm not getting their rated capacity out of them. I am getting close to, Amazon rates these as 2400, and consistently at least 2. I've tested 2. Same thing with the AAAs. The EBLs list theirs as 1100 milliamps. I'm getting 700 and something. Amazon lists theirs as 850 milliamps. I'm getting like 800 and something. So, yeah. Now they may not necessarily be lying. It depends on how they set up their test. It depends on how what the discharge voltage you go down to is on them before you kick it back up. If you go lower, you can get more amps. These things discharge to 0.67 volts and go up to like 1.45 or something. So they just charge pretty far, because you don't want to go, you want to discharge the battery far enough that it won't damage the electrolyte and everything else. Because if you get them completely discharged, they can reverse polarity. They can, like, hey, we don't even know where positive and negative is anymore, you know, and damage the battery. So a proper test discharges them to a safe low voltage, and then they go up. A lot of them just go to one volt on their test. So you have to look and see what it's doing. But this one at least did a deep test. Let it go completely down and still was counting milliamps. But you drop in an identical battery that's not rated as high, and it gets better performance. So to me, that tells me that in this situation, this battery has a higher capacity. This is actually an older battery than these. I bought these last year, and these might have been like 2 years ago. Not in constant use, but still an old a battery just sitting there and not getting charged every so often can have problems too. So, all right, I've run on too long. It's going to take 3 days to upload. But yeah, I hope you found that interesting. On these is just, yeah, you can go simple or you can go advanced. If simple does everything you want, which is light on and off and basically no strobes and none of that other stuff, if that's what you want, then that's what you got. You can go as smart or as dumb as you want these lights to be. But if you get into the smart mode sometimes, the little chip in here's got some issues. I think it's because of the voltage. It's not operating the same at 1.2 volts as it is at 3.6 or 3.7. And that difference, I think, is enough to trick the electronics, at least in this. I've had this one do the same thing. I've been swapping the batteries back and forth, and I've had this one, I turned it on, and it'll come on and it just flicker and then go off. And I'm like, what the heck? I don't think I got two bad ones at the same time, you know, so. Not this one, these two, sorry. The two SP10 Pros, basically. I'm swapping different batteries out. All right, yeah, all right, that's enough. You've been silly long enough. Oh, yeah, let's put the little diffuser on there. Diffuse it out. So, yeah, this comes in handy, too. Magnetic tail stand you can switch. It's not magnetic. It has like this, so you got little lanyard holes, but it's not as stable as a flat base, even though this one's not completely flat. All right. Turn that light back on. Quit your talking. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.